I don't want to make this video. I really don't. Because in a perfect world, we wouldn't be talking about this. But instead, it's not a perfect world, so today we are heading over to one of the more infamous trades that the Vancouver Canucks pulled off earlier this season. No, not the Quinn Hughes trade. Thank you very much. And we're talking about the idea that it was actually really good. Maybe even a heist of a trade, you can say. Today, we're heading over to the Columbus Blue Jackets and talking about former fan favorite Vancouver Canuck, Conor Garland. Because it turns out, everything that has led up to this point for both Garland and the Blue Jackets, it paints a very, very positive picture for the Vancouver Canucks. Let me explain why. So, let's dive into, firstly, the NHL standings and the Eastern Conference wildcard race that is going on. We had spoken about this in the Peter DeBoer video, but right now, the Flyers and the Senators are the two lowest point total teams that are in the playoffs at the moment. The Flyers have 90 points in 77 games, so do the Sens. But right on their tails, you have the Isles, the Red Wings, and the Blue Jackets, each with 89, 88, and 88 points. The Blue Jackets held down a playoff spot for most of the past few weeks, but they're 3-6-1 in their last 10. They've lost 3 games in a row, and now the Blue Jackets are getting kind of desperate. You see, what happens when a team is in the midst of a tight playoff race and they're losing games that they should be winning? What happens when you find yourself in that predicament? You start playing your important guys more. And more often than not, you start to see your top guys actually produce more and step up to the occasion. That's the reasonable expectation that you would have for a team that is in crunch time. You need to win these games. These are must-win opportunities that you may or may not be taking advantage of. That's reflected here in the point production in the last 10 Blue Jackets games. Zach Werenski has 9 points, Marchenko has 7, Marchment has 7, Fantilli, Jenner, Severson, Cole Sillinger. But one name is kind of missing from this list. You see, Conor Garland has only 3 points in his last 10 games as a Blue Jacket. 1 goal, 2 assists, and he is a -3. This is a guy who, if you take a look at not just the overall points, but also the ice time, Conor Garland is finding himself in 7-minute territory, 10-minute territory, 12, 14, 12, 13, 14-minute territory per night. He was used more in Vancouver, yeah, that's true. 18 minutes here, 19 minutes there, 20 minutes some nights, 20 minutes multiple nights before the Quinn Hughes trade went down. But after scoring 2 multi-goal games back-to-back to start out his Blue Jackets career, Conor Garland has been very, very unnoticeable. The team's been losing all of these games. Oh yeah, we said they've lost 3 in a row. Yeah, that's just in regulation. If you include that shootout loss to the Bruins, this team has lost 6 games in a row. They're losing their playoff position, and Conor Garland is a guy who is no longer playing a significant role. Take a look at this post made on the R Canucks subreddit. Conor Garland is averaging 13:06 time on ice after 16 games with the Blue Jackets. Thank goodness we got out of that contract. LOL. The top reply here says, in October and November, Conor Garland was averaging over 20 minutes. December, over 18. January and February, 17. And now in March, at 13:06. Honestly, this was the main contract I wanted the Canucks to trade, and I'm glad Allvin did it before his no-move clause kicked in. Tidy business, for sure. I'm glad they cleared it. $6 million a year until Conor Garland is 37 is brutal for a third liner. How anyone thought that extension was a good idea is beyond me. People were complaining about getting a second and a third back for him. And here's the thing. When I say that Conor Garland's trade from Vancouver was a quote-unquote heist, it's not because the return was super amazing, super extravagant, like, oh, they got the next Connor McDavid out of this trade. Nah, it's Conor Garland for a second and a third round pick. But you could also debate that this is an addition by subtraction type of thing. Conor Garland is making just under $5 million a year right now. He had signed a 6x6 with full trade protection to kick in next season until 2032. Conor Garland is 30 right now. And this is a guy who will just be starting a 6-year deal worth $6 million AAV. Now I understand, $6 million, 6 years, it's the old Louis Eriksson meme, and you can definitely say that $6 million by 6 years now is not as bad as what Louis Eriksson was because the cap is significantly higher now compared to when Louis signed his deal. Like, back in those days, the Sedins were the top paid Canucks at $7 million apiece. Louis was just a shade below that. Conor Garland, right now, he's like half of what a Connor McDavid is, and that's even a bad example because McDavid's cap hit could be significantly higher. He just decided to take less. But Conor Garland had no place on a rebuilding Canucks team. That's it, plain and simple. A guy who is 30 plus, making 6x6, who, let's be honest, he's a great leader. Everybody loves Conor Garland. Personality-wise, this is a guy that we have seen very good dedication towards his teams from. He says all the right things in the media. He is touted as a leader. I will not discredit that. But Conor Garland at 6x6 with full trade protection is brutal. And the fact that the Canucks were able to open up more financial opportunities by freeing that money and getting a second and a third in exchange, I'd say that's pretty tidy. And it's not necessarily that, oh, the cap space is more valuable than the leadership. It's next year, if Vancouver wants to go the old Arizona Coyotes route, they want to get Pavel Datsuk's contract, they want to get Marian Hossa's contract, they want to get Shea Weber's contract, they want to pull a San Jose and get Carey Price's contract. If they want to get these contracts that are worth money away from teams that want to get rid of them, they can do that. $6 million in freed up cap space allows them more opportunities to acquire value by weaponizing that cap space. And Conor Garland, we had been saying this the entire time Conor Garland was on the Vancouver Canucks. If he is on a cup contending team, where does Conor Garland play? On the third line. That's the answer to that question. If you head back over to the 23-24 year, yeah, Conor Garland had his best season, playing alongside of Dakota Joshua and Teddy Bluger. That was a crazy good year. Okay, he actually did outproduce himself the season after, but Conor Garland with Joshua and Bluger was so good, they made the best third line in the NHL. Conor Garland playing on this team was getting 13, 14, 15 minutes a night. It's not super significant. He was played as a top 6 option in Vancouver this previous season because, guess what? JT Miller left, and you had guys that were injured. We saw what Conor Garland did with 20-plus minutes of ice time per night. He would produce, but when his heart wasn't in it after Quinn Hughes got traded, that's when his ice time went down. That's when his point production totally dried up. And now in Columbus, a team that's trying their darndest to make the actual playoffs, and they're putting their best foot forward. They're putting their best guys on the ice. Conor Garland, unfortunately, is not one of them. This is their brand new 6x6 player whose contract will start next season. They just brought him in. He's going to have full no-move protection, and you're playing him on the third line. This is how it goes for Conor Garland, unfortunately. As much as we love the guy and we want to say good things about the guy, the fact is, he is just not the guy for Columbus right now. He is 9th on the team in points the past 10 games. He's got 3 points in his past 10. Everybody else over here, you're getting outscored by Damon Severson and Ivan Provorov. It's not looking good for Conor Garland, but for Patrik Allvin and the Canucks, you can say, this was a really big heist, eh? Thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99. And Bye.